This is Trophy Gold, Tomb Robbers of the Crystal Frontier, Part 3. Slightly shorter episode today, just for people watching. But let's do a bit of recapping, mostly just to sort of orient the treasure hunters, kind of where they're at in terms of the game's mechanics and the pressures that might soon be coming to bear on them, as well as what most recently happened in the story. But taking a look at the characters, I'm just going to read through the key block of information for each of you. Right now, Lysander, you have 6 burdens. You have 1 gold in currency, but you have some other treasures presumably as well. You have 3 tokens and 4 ruin. Ravel, you have 3 burdens, 1 gold in liquid currency, and 2 tokens and 3 ruin. And Kel, you have 3 burdens, 1 gold, 5 tokens, and 4 ruin. So the pretty healthy on tokens, actually. So that's good. And you need to collect 10 gold worth of stuff to have your burdens automatically cleared. That is your deal with Mab. What's her name? Yeah, Mab. And Adipose. But here's the thing. You can do that, and that's all well and good, but you still need money when you go back to town to like lower your ruin and stuff like that, right? Theoretically. And so you might want to have a little bit extra just to, that you're kind of leaving with. I'll also let you know that you don't have to honor your deal. You can choose to like cheat Mab and do something different. So that's kind of where things are at, though, as far as that goes. In terms of where we were last time, we are currently in Chamber 13. We do have a set goal here, by the way. The set goal is to just add it. Gain access to the sealed tomb. She'll type that for you. That's strictly out of character right now. You don't have any characters don't have any knowledge of what the sealed tomb is necessarily. I will remind you that the chamber that you're in right now has these large crystalline, they're essentially like little prison cells in them with people, these alien beings inside who are being tortured. And Colin's character actually touched one of the crystals and got like a psychic assault from the person trapped there, a female who sort of intimated that Kel and her were lovers or something, although I think she might be confused, and that they were going to enact the plans that got her thrown in prison in the first place. I also want to point out that right now, Lysander has summoned forth Marcello, who seems to have his own designs for this place. We saw something that is maybe not the most reliable information, but Lysander did see a vision of some version of Marcello giving the gift of the Oculith to the ancient king of this place. And then in the image, Marcello's eyes floated out of his head and floated out of the wall and indeed went to a different part of the dungeon. And so that was an interesting thing that happened. Daniel, you should consider that whole sequence to be very unreliable in terms of the truth of it all, but it is interesting and there's interesting information there. And so anything else you want to be reminded of before we kick off? I'll tell you that on the map, you can ignore that little space to the west, but there are doorways to the north and the east, and that is kind of where things are at right now. So, but if there's nothing else, we'll just we'll just kind of get right into it. What's everyone doing?
With that horrible scream, and then Kel, falling backwards. I think Lysander has two points of issue. One is Kel. Has he been we have to have some questions. We have to find out if Kel is still mentally with us. And then 2, the loud noise may have attracted something else. So we got to get out of here. We got to go somewhere else. So Lysander's basically saying we got to get out of here and we got to check and see if Kale, who am I? What's my name? And things like that.
Yeah. Well, Kel, how do you respond? You are all together, but you definitely heard this woman's voice giving you this little speech at the end there last time.
And can you remind me, is this the person that is encased in that crystal?
They're in the crystal, yeah.
And was this kind of in my head, or was it?
This was in your head.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's just a pure mental telepathic communication.
Okay. And I think if I remember correctly, there was like that scream and then the voice came after.
Correct.
Okay. I think I would try to communicate and just see if there was like a two-way line of communication there. And I don't know if that's like in my head or if I'm talking out loud, but I would try to say, hello, are you there?
Let's say right now there's no response.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean they're not there. There's just no response.
Okay. After that, I would kind of shake myself off a little bit and respond and just say, I'm here. Somebody was talking in my head. They seemed to know me, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with who they are. Jason, can you remind me, were they this plan that they were talking of? What was the rough sketch of it?
There was not much detail. It was just, she was just saying that the thing that got her put in this traitor's prison cell to begin with is we're gonna move forward with that. Like we're gonna get the plan done. Basically, she didn't say what it was.
Okay, all right. She has a plan. She was talking about a plan. I've tried to communicate, but I'm getting no response.
How many of these are there?
There are like 7.
Okay. And each one contains a being.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're all these sort of like long, wispy-eared, green-skinned beings.
Do they look equipped, or do they look like they're in a similar uniform?
That part's hard because you're looking through the crystal and it's like looking through a potato. Like there's, it's just like smudge. You only made out that they're aliens because of the ears. So.
Okay. Well, if they had a plan, it was probably to rob this place. I say, let's leave them where they are for the time being. Let Mads and them deal with them.
Right. This is not a rescue mission.
True, it's not part of your remit. You're just supposed to be mapping the place. So.
And so you say we can see doors to the north and into the
east.
East. Then I want to get the heck out of here. Something probably could have heard that scream. I want to get moving. Hustle up. Come on, Pate.
Pate has been just like staring at one of the figures in one of the prison cells and holding up he has a torch, right? Holding up the torch sort of like up to it, and he looks at you, he turns to you, and he says, I wonder how long they've been here.
These places are weird. It could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple of centuries, but don't touch anything, Pate. Just another reminder, do not touch anything.
And he nods and he says, I wonder if we're going to be trapped down here for a couple of weeks or a couple of centuries.
Nope, just a few more hours. Got to keep moving. Let's show some hustle, Pate.
Maybe not even that long. That's why we left a backup rope, remember?
Indeed. So where are you all headed, north or east? Well,
since the backup rope is I think west, that's where I want to go, but we can't go that way. So maybe I'm gonna say north. Maybe it curls back around.
Indeed.
That sounds good.
Sounds good, yeah.
Heading north, Take a look at our little map here. There is a short hallway about 50 paces in length. These little hallways they actually receive the most light from above, like the crystal is thinnest there. So as you're walking through, it's actually like a kind of slightly illuminated sort of purplish space. And here's the thing though, it's still fairly dim. And as you're getting to the opposite end of this hall, the torchlight is already catching something in that next chamber that, or something in the next chamber is already catching the torchlight and magnifying it to dazzling brilliance. Like even before you step into the chamber, you have to turn your eyes away. It's that dazzling. And you will not be able to enter the chamber with your eyes open, or you'll be blinded. That's how bright it is.
I'll just lift up my shirt and kind of put it over my eyes and like look through the fabric and see if that veils it enough.
It does a bit. Probably it will be a risk roll to do it that way. But I think because it's quite bright.
What if we extinguish the torch?
If you extinguish the torch and you go into that chamber is perfectly dark. It does not receive any sunlight from above.
All right, we need a smaller source of light.
I've got some candles.
A candle would be easier, be better. Yeah.
I have a ritual that might work. It's to navigate a space in darkness. And so I could close my
also
eye
work.
completely and use my olfactory sense to navigate in complete darkness.
It's not a bad idea. We have a couple of options here. Dim the light, cover your eyes so that the magnification of the light is not so bad, but still pretty dangerous. The dimming light is also still pretty dangerous. Or allowing Kel to go in and check the space out olfactorily.
Lysander, you've got a polished bit of mirror, don't you?
I do.
Hey, Pate, run down the way with the mirror and hold the torch further back and just shine it down this way. Let's see if that helps.
Wait, so say that again. You want him to go back with the torch?
I want him to go back with the torch and just try and reflect the light using the small mirror.
Oh, that's very
down the
clever,
hall.
actually. So that it would
just be a very small source of light.
Right. And so it might magnify it to just perfect viewing, actually. That's not a bad idea. These are all good ideas.
And I could also give him candles. So if the torch is still too bright, I could give him a candle. I've got like 12. And he could switch and try it with a candle versus a torch.
Yeah. I know Kel wants to use Kel's ritual though.
Well, I'm okay. I'm okay. If Kel wants to like scout it out, we can be on the standby with a light source.
That might be the wise thing to do, is to go in to scout the area first, and then once you kind of know what's in there, using this light contraption to actually see, right? Kel, if you want to do a risk roll to do your ritual, I think that's a great idea.
Right.
What could go wrong here, everyone?
He touches something that should not be touched.
Which I have a tendency to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you trip and fall into a bunch of like razor sharpened crystals.
That's about right.
Kel, that is not where I was going with this.
Yeah, I don't know. The ritual requires him to inhale a whole lot, and there's maybe spores in there.
Some of the dust, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we have some thoughts on how it could go wrong. Let's take a look at your dice, Kel. Do you have a light die for either your skills, equipment, or the environment that you're manipulating in some way?
Oh, I've got, I don't know, it's a stretch. I've got resilience. I've got athletics. For equipment, I think I still have some rope left, and it might be useful to have a way out quickly and to then maybe if I give a tug on it, I could get pulled back
Oh,
quickly.
you know, it just occurred to me, you're not supposed to have anything picked on this little drop down that says training. That's
Oh
like
gosh, okay.
that's like a advancement,
Okay.
but that's okay. you were once quite athletic to the point where I gave you a die bonus. But no, say that again. So you've got regardless, I don't think that would have even helped anyway. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. Resilient. Yes, I don't know if any of that applies. You might be.
Yeah. So,
You might just be depending on the devil's bargain here.
okay. All right.
And who has an offer? No matter what, the woman in the cell visits you in the dark.
I'm gonna say no matter what, you get turned around, and you get. I don't know if there's a way to get lost in the room, but you get turned around in the dark.
No matter what, you are at least temporarily cut off from us.
Yeah, those two are. I'm going to interpret both of those offers as the same offer, essentially. So,
okay.
You got two offers here.
I'm curious about the voice that I heard. I think I'll take that one. About that.
You've got
woman.
one light die, and you have to take a dark die because of the ritual. So go ahead and roll risk 1 first. Let's see what you end up with, and then we'll narrate it.
All right, 5, but it's a match with the dark die at 5 also.
Yeah, and your current ruin is 4, so your ruin is going up, regrettably. But you will successfully pull the ritual off, and you will indeed successfully navigate space. The complication is going to involve the devil's bargain, and we'll come to that in a moment. But for now, just describe the ritual. What does it look like?
Let's see. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but I've got this, my beekeeper's it's kind of a frock. It's like this leather frock with a hood, and the hood opening is circular, and there's a wicker screen that I kind of see through. And the idea is that it keeps bees out when I'm working with the bees, but it also kind of obfuscates my face, and they look quite creepy. If you ever Google medieval beekeepers,
I've seen them. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They're a creepy bunch. but I'm actually going to take that off to allow my smelling to kind of like be able to like fully inhabit the room. And I think I just close those eyes. I think I take a dab of honey from my pot of honey, and just kind of scoop that out and put it in my mouth, and just kind of meditate on my time with the bees, and then close my eyes, and I'm just breathing really deeply as I navigate the space. And I've probably got my arms out just a little bit like that.
I love it.
And just walking slowly. Yeah.
So you're in the room. The chamber is about half the size of the one you just left. The main sort of central feature in the north corner, and I say north corner because the room is kind of diamond shaped. It's not like a squarish room. It's kind of more oriented, kind of like a diamond. When you go in, you can kind of tell that that is a central dominant feature because you can essentially smell like a large deposit of the crystal all together in one place, like a structure. And along one wall to the west, this wall to the west is different. It is made of the same material as the rest, but you can tell that there's something just on the other side of it, and that indeed that wall is thinner than the rest because you can smell what's coming from the other side of it. And so you have one wall that's very thin, so thin that it allows your enhanced abilities to smell from the other side of that thin wall. And what you smell coming from the other side of this thin wall is decay. The room is otherwise quite empty. Just this sort of structure on one side, this thin wall on the other. And you also will probably smell a draft that indicates there is a doorway to the east. Another passage. You can go back and have reported all this to the group. But before you go back, you see in your mind's eye, in this darkness, almost like stepping out of the darkness into the spotlight of your mind's eye, you see this woman, her skin seafoam green, her ears have wild tendrils flying off of them, and she's dressed in robes of mauve and cream. And she smiles and she says, "You are very, very close to the king's oculith, an object of such power. When the time comes, you must grab it for yourself. You must not let the others get their hands on it. Do you understand?"
I say, I hear you, I understand. How do we access it?
You will see when the time comes. Just press forward. At all costs, press forward. Meanwhile, when you come back, we can say you come back and report everything you saw, or not saw, but sensed. And so what do the two of you do with that information?
I mean, no indication as to whether it's dangerous or not to illuminate the place. So we're back where we started. We leaving it in darkness, or are we illuminating it?
I think we'll have to illuminate it. What did
You
you
can
tell us about
follow
decay?
Kel through the space if you wish, just like Kel navigate. But
To the doorway or towards the decay? Is that the two choices?
so there's like a thin wall, so thin that you can smell decay from the other side, and then there's a passageway going off to one side.
Did we smell decay in the pit of the crystal zombies?
Interestingly, not as much, not really, because they're actually pretty well preserved by the crystal. Yeah.
This might be some other kind of decay other than, humanoid. It could be plant or something else. I do have a pickaxe.
Well, before we go swinging any pickaxes, I think we should at least try to illuminate the room. Just the smallest bit, and if nothing happens, but we can see, all's the better.
Here's the thing. For Pate to stay this far back, and he's almost catatonic, I don't feel comfortable with him being in charge of the light.
Well, we could set up a candle and set up the mirror, and no one would have to hold it, but I'd just as soon somebody be keeping an eye on it and be able to relight it if something goes amiss.
Yeah.
Would you rather one of us do it? Pate, what do you have to say about this?
Centuries. Can you imagine being in one place for centuries?
All right, That's enough out of you.
That's my. I rest my case. I'm
Who
okay
wants to
with that.
babysit a candle?
Yeah, I'm fine doing that. I've already been in the space. That way you two can go take a look.
Fine.
Okay. Okay.
Very good. Setting up this contraption is going to take a bit, but you'll get it going. And I like the plan. The plan is very good. And in fact, the light will be magnified a lot, but because it's such a small amount of light to begin with, it's just like seeing normally into the space. And now that you can see the space, I will tell you that the walls are white and they're incredibly faceted. Like it's a wonder. It's almost a marvel to stare at these like white faceted walls. And in that northerly sort of corner is a spired altar of carved crystal. And in the center of that altar is a crown, a silver gem encrusted crown. Now, Kel's move was very helpful because the walls all look normal to you, but Kel was able to determine that one of them is thin by smelling. And if you look at that wall, it doesn't look any different than the rest. So
Yeah, I'll tap it. I'll tap the walls with one of those metal spears that we retrieved.
yeah,
to see if they sound different.
you'll confirm that one's hollow. That one has a hollower sound.
Yeah, I'll put an ear to it to see if there's any, noises.
Make a hunt roll. You're muted, David.
I don't know if I've got any skills.
Might just be listening.
Yeah, I don't know if precision is
It's
like
probably too esoteric for the roll. Just do one die. You can use equipment too, but
Oh, I'm tapping on the wall to see if like anything responds to that.
oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'll take that. That's good. So what'd you get? Hey, a 6. Take your token. You don't hear anything responding or moving. So
Yep, and giving it a beat and looking around, making sure nothing is like descending upon us. I'll look at Lysander and be like, looks like it's time for a pickaxe.
I want to cut back over to Kel guarding that candle. Kel, a couple of the Lith zombies have managed to get through. They are stumbling toward your position. Their hands, their gem encrusted hands stretching out, and that sort of voice like smashed glass or smashing glass screeching out to you. What do you do?
I think that how far away am I from the others?
I mean, you can call them pretty easily. I don't think that's any trouble. They're just
I
like
think I'll
down the
call-
hall.
Yeah, I'll call out like, hey everyone, we've got company. And I think I'll ready my crossbow. Does it seem like they're, you said they're coming right towards me?
They're eventually going. Yeah, they're coming inevitably in your direction. Yeah, not fast, but they're on their way.
Yeah. And is Pate with the others?
Yeah, I think Pate is with the others, and Pate is like touching the walls, and he's like, how many centuries do you suppose it took to carve all these little facets on the wall.
Remember, you got to keep your hands in your pockets, Pate, like I showed you.
Yeah, this episode is the one where Pate became philosophical.
Right, yeah. So, anyway, do you all hear the hue and cry from Kel? What do you do?
I'll look at Pate touching the walls and look at Lysander and be like, I'll call if it's bigger than Kel and I can handle. Maybe just keep an eye on him.
But you don't want me to start digging into the wall, do you?
Yeah,
There could be something on the other side just as bad.
Well, if you put a little hole in the wall and something starts to come through, you call for help.
Can do. I draw a little mark. I won't go any bigger than this.
Very good. Let's come back to this. Go back to this fight. The two creatures. I don't know if we ever named these. I've just been calling them lift zombies, but glass ghouls. We did name them. These two glass ghouls together, they're endurance 7, not too hard, but they are lumbering towards you. And once they get wind of you, they start to speed up as they come forward. What's the plan here? Regular combat, or are you going to try ranged again, Kel?
I do have 1 bolt left
Okay.
on my crossbow, so I figure at the very least I can start with that.
Okay, sounds good. Let's fire it off. Let's see how it goes. Just roll a, I don't know, just get 1 die. Risk 1. It's fine.
Yeah, I've got a bundle of these spears. Can I use them like javelins?
Sure.
Okay.
But if
I'll
I
risk
understand
a
the rules
couple.
correctly, eventually you do have to engage them in combat, right?
Not if you exceed their endurance from a distance.
I thought that was just if it lowered their.
It doesn't, that Jesse misspoke. He was talking about rituals, and I
Okay.
clarified with him.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if between the range combat, if you can manage to exceed their endurance, you don't have to actually engage them in combat. That makes sense.
Yeah, as long as you can get them in a position, where you can
Yeah.
actually engage them in rage combat before they would be upon you.
Yeah, that's logical. Okay, let's do that. So how many spears? Let's say it's ammo 3. How many are you going to spend?
I'll risk a couple spears here to see how I can do.
Okay, and we've got 1. So you do a risk 2. You do a risk 1. Colin, we'll see what happens.
I got a 6 on mine.
Oh, nice. So that'll be enough. You'll be able to take them out between the two of you, a 6 and a 4.
Yeah, and I lose one of the javelin's breaks in the process.
Yeah, indeed. So let's narrate this. What does it look like? Start off, Kel.
I'm just kind of babysitting this contraption, and so I take a few steps forward away from it, and aim for the closest one, and I aim right for the head and land a really nice, satisfying headshot.
Nice. And Ravel, you have to use a couple of these to take out the next one. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I bring that bundle of bronze spears over that we salvaged earlier, and I lay it down as they're like still coming down the hall, and see him shooting with his crossbow. I pick one up and I hurl it down the hall, and it hits the stone and just like shatters the entire tip of it. And I pick up another one and I throw it, and it gets the other one like in the chest, and he drags himself a few more steps, but then it like completely shreds him enough that he gives up and falls over.
Nice, I love it. That felt like a good use of the ranged weapon rules, because you like had a chance of like actually stopping them before they could get to you without having to risk ruin, which I think is interesting. So.
Yeah, and since we didn't reduce their endurance, we actually met them. I think we still get the opportunity to try and loot them.
I think that's what Jesse said. Yeah, so roll a gold 7, see how it goes. Who's rolling the gold?
I thought Cal was rolling it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
All right, we got
1 gold. Whoever wants to define the spoor that you get off of it, by all means, just do so and keep it if you wish. What is salvageable?
I think it's the hands that you were talking about. The jewel encrusted. This one is like grown big enough pieces that they would actually be like marketable.
Interesting.
As soon as Jason said that, I thought the same thing. I thought somebody would pay money for that, like in a shop. You know, they have the.
So the jewel encrusted glass ghoul hands, 1 gold. Whoever's keeping those. Sounds like it might be you, David. Or-
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and liquidate it.
Okay. You never know. It could be valuable.
Okay, I'll note it down there.
Valuable thing later. Let's continue on. So that chamber, it does have that altar space in the far corner, atop which is a very, like, quite dazzling silver crown encrusted with jewels, just laying there. And then we have the thin wall. Lysandra, you said you were making a tiny hole in the thin wall. I think that approach is good enough for me to remind you, but not put you in danger of, that cracking the wall causes the dust to come up. And so how are you protecting yourself from inhaling the dust?
Before I do that, I think I can finally use my appraisal skill on the crown.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Because if it's something chintzy, I don't want to risk
It is
breathing the
not.
dust or
It's worth
unleashing the horde.
It's worth
Uh,
a large sum of silver to the right buyer. In game terms, it's worth 6 gold.
Oh yeah, we're not going any further. This is where we.
This is where you
This is our
stop.
base camp.
Indeed.
So I will. Gosh, Pate. Today's lesson in dungeoneering is called the face mask, and so I'm getting out some cloth, and I'm putting some of the water on it. Now the water will help collect any of these dust particles before it gets into our respiratory system, and I show Pate how to do it. And once it's tied on, and stand right here, don't get out of this circle on the ground that I just drew, and then I'll take a whack at the wall.
You can make a little tiny hole, and I think because of the way the space is illuminated, you will be able to see in well enough into the next space that it opens up into. And what it opens up into is, you can't see like too much because you have a fairly limited view, but you can see well enough to notice that inside there are what appear to be crystal coffins.
Oh yes, yes, Tomb Raiders of the Crystal Frontier.
Mm-hmm. These are the aforementioned tombs. Yeah. So, and of course, the second goal here is gain access to the sealed tomb. That's probably this space. So,
Just make a hole a little bit bigger, just a little bit.
so let's put you all together. I think if you want to make the hole big enough to where you can traverse it, I need a risk roll because that will be dangerous to kick up that much dust. But otherwise,
Before I do that, I'm going to ask Kale and Ravel, who are, I guess at this point, wrapping up the glass school fight. Is that timing wise?
yeah, you can all be together now in that new chamber.
Yeah, Ravel's trying to pull the hands off of a ghoul, so we got a minute.
So, should we focus on the crown or go check out these crystal coffins?
I mean, the coffins seemed like their protection was being hidden. I don't know what'll happen if we try and take that crown. Seems too obvious, but you never know. Sometimes people just leave things out.
Oh no! If they put traps on doors, they're going to put traps on this. What do you think, Kale?
Just noting here, I've updated the map as well.
I think we should keep pushing through into this hidden room, and that crown is mighty enticing. And I think we, with a little bit more time, we can maybe devise a way to safely see if we can grab that.
I don't know where you keep your bees, but now would be a good time to summon them forth to carry the crown to us, if that's possible.
I will tell you at this point, just as a reminder, that Kel is at 5 ruin and therefore very close to dying. So I would be very mindful of risk rolls from here on forward, Kel. If you have armor, you can survive a combat or two, but risk rolls are very dangerous for you right now. So
Yeah, I think I'm staying free and clear of as much risk as possible.
Well, this is going to stir up some dust. So well, I think you've already got all the gear for that. But if you want to keep an eye on Pate while I clear this out, I'll get to work making a hole big enough that we can go into.
what are you doing in
Sounds
the meantime, Ravel?
I'll be nearby to try and assist if it looks like it's not going well. Like I'll like have like clothes and things like that to like drop over
Okay, I
over
like that.
sections.
Yeah. So let's do this risk roll with the principal roller will be Lysander, but then with it help if needed. So what could go wrong here, gang? I think it's fairly straightforward that just the space gets filled with too many of the particles and you'll all be infected by them.
I think it could cause this whole wall to come collapsing down and barricade our way in.
Oh,
That would be tragic.
That'd be very bad. Yeah. And probably also kick up a lot of dust. So
The noise could possibly wake up something in the other rooms in those tombs.
it's also an interesting idea. So let's talk about dice. Do you have a relevant skill or piece of equipment, Lysander?
I have the pickaxe.
Okay, let's do devil's bargains. My devil's bargain is no matter what, something on the other side does wake up. Hopefully your companions will come up with something complicated, but not as complicated as that.
No matter what, Pate picks up the crown.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my gosh! No matter what, we get treasure and go home happy.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that one.
That one is not
No,
on the
I like
table.
that one. No matter what.
No matter what, one of these sarcophagi is a way to another reality.
Ooh, that's a good way of playing with the drive.
And how would I know that? Would I know that?
I mean, out of character, you don't. You're in character, you don't know it necessarily, but we'll make sure you know eventually.
Okay, then I'll definitely go with that one.
You have 2 light dice, and I think a dark die is automatic here. So go ahead and roll, please. Risk 2-1. That is a 5 light. That's a success with a complication. If you want to take the help die could bump you up to a 6. The complication is going to be, I'm going to go with my complication or my offer, which is that, yeah, something is waking up.
I think I'll just go ahead and go with that because it's probably, yeah. If it's not going to wake up now, it'll wake up in a few minutes when we start knocking on it. You know, just might as well let the cat out of the bag.
Indeed. That all sounds great. Let's take a break now. Take 5. We'll come back and we'll do the last hour. We'll get back. So while that's happening, let's check in with Kel momentarily. Kel, while they're doing that work and you're hanging back, the woman's voice, she says, forget the crown, it's nothing. Forget them, it's nothing. They're nothing. Real power, real wealth lies this way. And she means that corridor on the eastern side. She says, hurry, while they're not paying attention. Go and grab it for yourself. How do you respond?
When I look towards that corridor, what do I see?
It is a fairly short corridor that opens up into another room that you can look into easily enough. It doesn't have the same blinding crystal problems. but you'd have to go in to look.
Yeah, I think that I don't have any problem just going to take a peek.
As you head over there to that section, let me find a description for it. Tell you what you see. That is, make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. Oh, that is another chamber with crystal coffins, but they're more ornate. And you can see inside that the interred are themselves draped in jewels and things, but it's another chamber filled with these coffins. And she says, and there's also a door off to one side. As you go in, it's on the right. And she says, no, not here. Mere baubles compared to the Oculith. Down there. And she means that corridor. I will tell you there's a set goal in this new part that is to safely get past the Guardian Knight.
I think that I'm in a perfect position.
You can
Just
literally
like-
spend your tokens and
I'm
get.
gonna spend my tokens and get past this night.
So we'll come back to this moment in a moment. But yeah, that's your set goal. Safely get past the Guardian Knight. And back in the sealed tomb, you're just getting enough of the wall safely chiseled away. It's taking a bit. And Lysandra's focused on the work Ravel. And so you notice straight away that the noise has disturbed at least one of the occupants of these sarcophagi. The lid has slid off, and one of the occupants is raising up out. And they are wrapped in head to toe, or at least their arms and face that you can see, are wrapped in cream-colored bandages. And they are also encrusted with a crystal here and there. And they are moving their hands apart. And as they move their hands apart, you can see a throbbing, pulsating ball of hot energy that appears to be getting bigger and more powerful and ready to explode. What do you do, Ravel?
I think I'm standing by with blankets and things like that in my lance, and then I see that start to happen, and I like nudge Pate with the lance, and I'm like, snap to, man, come on. And I'm like, we gotta stab the thing through the wall, before it can do whatever it's trying to do.
And he says, oh, yes, we have to end its centuries-long torment. So what do you do?
I'm trying to get me and Pate into combat with the thing.
Okay, very good. I love it. Yeah, combat. This is an 8. And let's kick it off. How are you vulnerable?
I still don't have armor.
That's an issue. I will.
Yeah.
Let me get Pate. Pate's vulnerable just because Pate is like such a space case right now.
Weak.
Pate's is a 4. Yours is a 2. And let's have a combat 2. Looking for 8.
Nope.
That's not near enough. And also weak point was hit.
Yep.
So describe it. What's happening?
So
The thing just
it's on the-
blasts you with like hot energy, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Pate's too spaced out to like actually do anything effective right here. He just kind of fumbles with his weapon, is like getting ready, and I stick my lance through the gap opening. That probably means Lysander has finally noticed what is happening here. But as I do that, like it draws the creature's attention, and I don't think it shoots like the full force and effect of what it was trying to do, but whatever it had ready, it just directs it at me.
Nice. Lysander, do you want to join the combat?
Yes, and how far away is it from the wall? Like on the inside.
So probably like 5 or 6 paces. I mean, you can get there pretty quickly.
Can I get into the room, or
Yeah, yeah.
or is
Yeah,
are we still
yeah.
talking about a hole?
No, everyone's in the room right now if you want to be. So
Where the sarcophagi are?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, this
In that
is like
case,
this is just as you got the gap open.
Gotcha. Okay. In that case, I'm just gonna like try to bury the pickaxe. Can I count the pickaxe as a weapon?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Then I'm just gonna try to bury the pickaxe into.
How are you vulnerable?
It's a pickaxe, and I'm more. He's a Lysander's a saber guy, and so this is like a, like I'm trying to fight with a shovel. Well, a pickaxe.
Clumsy weapon.
It's when
I
I'm used to
love it.
fighting with.
Go ahead and roll a weak point. You're muted, Daniel.
I was just cussing. That's okay.
It's a 6. All right. So this would be a combat 4. Go ahead and roll it, Daniel. Oh, Pate's taking it on the chin. It's a 5, 4, 4, and a 2. And the monster's defeated because of 5 and 4, but both Pate takes 2 hits and Ravel takes 1. So
Is that it for Pate? How much ruin did he have?
I don't recall. We have to look that up. I don't recall how it works. This is a new rule. Let me pull up the little document Jesse sent me.
He was damaged by the shard mistress, or the crystal mistress. He was
That's
damaged
right.
by her.
And let's see here. They start with 3. He starts with 3 ruin. Yeah, so this would kill him, which is very sad. But nevertheless, it is what happens. So let's take it away. Daniel, I'll give you the privilege of narrating Pate's goodbye, since you're going to be taking the burden of his life. But Ravel, kick it off. What does it look like?
I think the blast knocked me off my feet, and I get back up and see that it's still charging. It didn't like dissipate when he shot his thing. And so I just like drive the spear into it again, and it shoots me back again, and I go like flying across the room, but my spear is still stuck in it.
Nice. Daniel, what happens to Pate?
The energy blast hits him. It knocks him across the room, and probably hits him in the torso, and it's done a lot of like internal damage, and so he's against the wall, probably coughing up blood, and I'm trying to see where I can add direct pressure this time, and that's probably not a good idea. And I just reassure him that it's okay, and that we killed it, and you're not going to be trapped here for 200 years, or like 20 seconds.
Indeed, indeed. Ravel, did you want to make sure the creature is finished off? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think I get up, and my spear is sticking out of it, and it's feebly trying to continue like glowing its orb thing. And I just push the spear in a little bit more, and then I wrench it down, and it separates the upper half of its body from the lower half, and it stops.
Nice. You'll get a gold roll on this in a moment, but we'll cut back to it. I'm going to cut over to Kel. So Kel, that chamber was the chamber it leads directly into this chamber that you were in, leads directly into this chamber with more of these crystal sarcophagi. And then there's a doorway where the voice wants you to go. And going through that doorway, before you step in, you hear that voice much louder. Fear not, sister. Once I am freed from my watch, I will come and rescue you. And you hear heavy, very heavy footsteps as well, marching. And if you look inside, you will see an enormous space where a knight, incredibly tall, 12 feet tall, in gilded armor, with an enormous axe. He's worn grooves into the floor from walking in this circle, guarding the doorway across the way. Spending the tokens allows you to safely get past him to that doorway. Are you going to spend them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and narrate it. How do you get past the Guardian Knight?
The Guardian Knight is just kind of circling in front of this door.
Yeah, just between the doorway you're in and the doorway that you're trying to get to. And he's very big. Like if he sees you, the axe can reach you, no problem. And so this is just pure narration. You don't have to, there's no mechanics involved here.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was anything that I wanted to use from my inventory. Anything I can think of feels kind of trite, but I don't know. I think I just kind of, how is this room lit?
There is, so this is a very, very high ceilinged part. And so it's very, very close to the surface. So there's just enough ambient light coming in from the surface.
Okay. I think I would try to cause a distraction and maybe rig up a, with my twine and my small bell, rig something up that might cause the knight to go on and investigate, and just kind of slink my way past as they're off of their rotation.
I love it. It's like a video game when you throw the little, you throw the thing and the thing goes to investigate, right? Yeah, he will. He'll say, "Sister, did you hear that? What was that?" And then, boom, 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 as he goes to like investigate the sound. And then you can just slide right past him. And when you slide right past him, you find yourself in a triangle-shaped throne room. It is dark, but it's dark, but it's glowing green. The floor is glowing with green light. So you just have like this green light and shadow. There are jagged carvings on the blue-black crystal walls. All of the geometry in the room points toward a dais at the rear, where 3 short steps elevate to an ornate throne. A glass ghoul mummy is slumped there, draped with silver and a pale green orb, resting in his lap, glowing pale green. There's a new set goal here: safely acquire the Oculus. And the voice says, There he is. Look at him. Even in death, he must sit on his throne. Oh, what vanity. But more importantly, there is the Oculus. Go and lay your hands upon it. You are almost there. Meanwhile, back in the sealed tomb, what'd you get on the gold roll? It's a gold 8.
Two.
2, not bad. Everything you find is just in like gems and stuff draped on the corpse, basically. So you can just add it to as money to your liquidated gold. You can split that if you wish, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, one to Lysander, one to Ravel.
Very good. There are 7 more sarcophagi. They are all arranged. They're arranged like in a circle around the room. All of them have mummies in them, like that one did, except for one. One of them, Lysander, is empty, except not empty. There is a sort of swirling silvery cloud inside that one. Lysander, poor Pate is laid crushed at your feet. What do you take from him to present to his family?
I'm trying to remember his gear. I think probably his bow. He's got like a short bow. I'll
Okay.
probably take the bow.
Very good. And then what do you do now?
Ravel, I don't think we can. I don't think we can take 6 more of these um, mummies. These glass ghouls. I don't know. What do you think? This is where the treasure is, though. That and the crown, and we I think we'll be done. I think we've got what Mabe wants, and maybe then some. How much do we
Yeah, I
have?
think I'm pretty battered at this point, and I'm like, yeah, I don't have a whole lot more fight in me. If it looks like these creatures are somehow still capable of animation, I don't want to mess with them. And then I see that strange, like, misty one. What is this?
I don't. You know, I'm afraid if we open it, the mist might get out. I don't know what. I don't know why this one's different. I don't know if that's the essence of the creature that was here, or if it's some kind of way to another dimension.
Do you open it?
No.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Not speak ill of the dead. I'll not speak ill of Pate. In fact, he probably deserves a bit of honor. And I will haul the like slain body out of here, and I'll lay corpse of Pate into it instead. There's not a chance he'd find himself a more magnificent resting place.
So you're going to put him in the one that the one zombie was in, the one mummy was in. Okay.
Yep. And I'll leave that one's desiccated corpse on the ground in dishonor.
Very good. Meanwhile, Kel, Nusekal safely acquire the Oculus. Do you have enough tokens to auto accomplish that one too?
Only. I've got 2 left. I'll make that adjustment here.
So I'll contribute a token to this happening if, when possible, Ravel and Kel can get in a contest over the thing.
I think that would be amazing. In fact, let's make this interesting. Lysander, Marcello is in the sealed tomb with you. and he says, Lysander, can't you tell that this is not where the real power of this place lies? These are, at best, viziers or high-ranking nobles or attendants. No, I imagine the king of this place is buried a little deeper. That's where we'll find something I have sensed from the moment you called me here. Let us press forward to get our hands on the real power.
Here's the thing. I saw an image of a younger you offering the Oculus to this king, and in that image, you pointed a different direction for this for me to go. Does that ring any bells?
He says, no, I suspect it is just a trick of this place, trying to get you to do something it wants you to do, or someone in
Lysander.
this place.
Who are you talking to,
The
Lysander?
spirit of this. It's just a spirit that I communicate with former.
It's not Pate, is it?
No. It's the spirit of a great arch librarian of Lavesti, who I have a locket that I can communicate with him, and
This way, Lysander. Down that way. Your
here's the
companion
thing,
is already gone.
Here's the thing, Ravel. I'm getting mixed messages from Marcello, because I saw an image earlier that I told you about with the Glass Ghoul Horde, where he told me to go this way, and now this version of Marcello, which I think is Marcello, is telling me to go that way. So I'm getting some mixed signals.
I take a second, I look around. Where'd Kel go?
Exactly. Where's
He's
Kel?
guarding the light.
No, he's not there. He's gone.
I'm pretty sure he's guarding the light.
Kel, like, he's not responding. I think he's gone further in.
That would be instant death.
I'll vault over our opening and start heading further in. Like, I'm concerned Kel might have gotten himself like dragged off or something.
Well, so are we spending this coin to get the Oculus, or these 3 tokens?
What was the offer? That there would be a contest? Is that one of the new rules?
Contest rolls, it's not often used in Trophy Gold, but it's been around for a little bit. It's a Trophy Dark rule. But basically, yeah, the contest rolls, like, you both decide what the stakes are, then you roll it. But I'll tell you what, you'll hit ruin really fast. like one of you'll be dead.
We're
by
both
the
at
end.
we're both at 5. So I thought it would be an interesting way for us to resolve one or maybe both of our characters, potentially.
Or if you
But
want
I
to
would
stay alive, you cannot
Yeah.
do that.
We could not do that. But I think if you're gonna take the thing without telling us about it, like, is that what you want to do? Is that what you hope to do? Is to take the thing without us knowing about it?
That's
I
what
will
she
give you.
wants you to do.
That's never been my intention.
Okay.
I'm on the fence about whether or not we need to be upfront with Mab about it, but I've never intended to kind of pull one over on the rest of the party.
Okay.
And I
Well,
do
if
have
you-
an idea for how to investigate this situation with the Oculus.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you were thinking of doing that, I was going to contribute a token. Just ask that we have a contest over whether you could actually conceal it from us or not. But since you have no intention of doing it, I'll just give you the token
Okay.
without any condition.
If 3 tokens are spent, I'll take over the narration and say that you follow her guidance and you can actually feel her guiding your hands. Your hands approach the Oculus, glowing with this seafoam green light. And she causes you to take it and move it away from the Mummy King's grip so that nothing else is disturbed. And now you're holding it. It's about the size of a basketball. And just holding it in your hands, you can feel its arcane power. She says, "Excellent, excellent. Now, bring it to the prison cells and use its power to free me." But what do you do?
I'll take the chance to ask what will I get in return if I do this?
You will get what I have always promised you. My love everlasting. We will rule this world together.
And what if I don't do this for you?
There's just silence.
All right, I'll take the Occolith and I'll pack it up and I'll start to make my way back towards the others.
The Guardian Knight is actually deferential to the Oculus. Having it in your possession causes the Guardian Knight to stand aside. And you quickly meet up with the others in the other sarcophagus room, the one that's not behind the sealed wall. And if you're not trying to hide it, everybody will see the Oculus.
I'll pull it out and say, friends, look what I've found. You
Good.
won't imagine where I've been.
Good heavens. What do you suppose that bauble is worth?
Let me do my appraisal skills.
It's worth at least, I would say it's worth, it's a lot. It's also worth at least 6 gold.
More than we can imagine.
Yeah,
Lot.
but
its true value is as a magic item. That's
right.
That's its true value.
Why don't we go back to the why don't we go back to the room with the crystal or the silver crown? We give that to Mabe, and we kind of squirrel this away somewhere. Because is this the one that I saw in the vision where Marcello
Yes.
presented it? Yeah, this is definitely it. This was in that pre-recorded story.
Well, we've lost one of our number to this place. We better get something good in return.
I'll say, where's Pate?
I just shake my head.
Pate didn't make it. There's yeah.
He was a good leader.
He was the leader of the expedition. He was the most experienced in tomb delving of the 4 of you. So, what's the plan for going back? Because Mabe's going to want this.
No, I want to go back to the room where we dug a hole where that crown was and get the crown for Mabe. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
If we can get it, if we can figure it out.
Yeah, like basically. Okay, good. So, I mean, as long as she gets her payment, you can probably try to like hide the rest of it or otherwise try to retrieve it out of the tomb without her knowing, right? That's possible.
Yeah, we had some kind of deal, right? Where once we paid her a certain amount, we could take whatever we wanted minus some other
Half. Yeah, she wants half of everything else, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we satisfy our 10 and then offer up something else valuable, maybe we can take this thing.
She won't let us take this thing. She can't see it. She's hunting for Oculus. She can't see it.
How big is this? It's like the size of a basketball.
Yeah, it's big.
How are we going to hide this thing and get it out of here? We haven't found our rope.
No, but I got a pickaxe. Let's dig a hole. But for this plan to work, we got to get the crown because I don't think we have 10 yet. Although I can cash in 3 tokens right now. Do those cash in for 1 for 1?
They do, yeah. If you were just to cash those in, I would just give you like gems and jewels off some of these like noble mummies in the sarcophagi.
Can I go ahead and do that while we're
Sure, yeah.
just to start counting our money?
Well,
you can do that.
hold on before you spend them because we might need them to get past a set. I'll say I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unliquidated gold. So
I've
only
got
got
one.
two I've only got 2 gold.
Yeah, I've got the ruby eyeballs worth 1 gold.
okay, so that's 6 that we're not counting up top. And so we've got 11 up, all said before counting the Oculus. So we've got enough to satisfy our way out of here before messing with the Oculus,
Is that counting the crown or not counting the crown?
not counting the crown.
You haven't touched the crown yet. The crown's still on the
Yeah.
altar.
It's worth some money though.
It's very
Yes.
valuable.
Yes. And it would be great to try and get it. I don't want us all to die in the process after we've got secured the treasure.
It's not a set goal, so I can't use my tokens to just grab the crown. But
No.
I am going to go ahead and let's say I got 3 tokens. That's enough to get past 1 set goal. But
Can we safely get back to the way we came in?
Yeah, you left up your contraption. The main problem with getting back is you're gonna have to figure out a way of getting the glass schools off the gate so that you can go back through that.
Yeah. So we
Nice.
might have to spend 3 tokens to accomplish that. Frustrating as that would be.
I'll describe the room before the final throne room and describe the guardian knight as being deferential to the Oculus. And I'll say, that room, it was quite high and it seemed quite close to the surface. And I wonder if we might be able to pickaxe our way through the surface if we had a way to get up there. The knight might help us.
If you're saying the big thing might help us, maybe it can drive a way through.
That's exactly right.
The
What
knight's
is the
very, very
glowing-
big and probably can't navigate the halls, but he's certainly big enough to like raise you up to that roof or to the ceiling. That's close to the surface. It's closer to the surface.
Is he big enough to like chip away at his own ceiling?
Oh yeah, his axe is massive. This is Dark Souls scale, dude.
So yeah, he might could break a hole through to the surface and we could climb out and not give Mab anything.
I'm down with that.
That would be quite a thing. And
then we're gonna
with
this
the
option we
Oculus. You can command the Guardian Knight with the Oculus, but it's a risk roll. So who wants to do it?
I think it has to be me. I think it has to be Lysander because I have 4 ruin.
You have the space to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to be me.
All right. So, as described, this towering Guardian Knight with his massive axe. The axe itself is probably like 15 feet long, and he's about 12 feet or so in height, with incredible gold armor. And the light here is the natural ambient light here is brightest because the space is closest to the surface, right? Though it may not reach all the way to the surface, it might get you, pretty close, at least a way up to it faster, maybe a little tunnel or something. But I like this as a plan. You just have to take the Oculus in your hands, and what do you do? What do you say?
See here now. You large guardian of yesteryear. We need you to take your mighty axe and strike the ceiling in this location. I guess I'm going where there's the brightest light. Have at it, oh giant guardian.
Risk roll. What could go wrong here, David, Colin?
It brings the room down.
I think maybe like you misunderstand something about the relationship between the Oculus and the knight, and it just attacks. Any additions, Colin? Those are probably the two most obvious things.
Yeah, I had both of those in mind also.
But I know I'm not supposed to give one, but what comes in my mind is it opens up and there's Mabe's camp.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, yeah, like it just goes right up into the. That would be a real problem. Let's talk about devil's bargains in a moment. Let's talk about your dice. Do you have a relevant skill here? Command or something similar?
I think I could make a case that I'm a disinherited noble, and so I've got the
Okay.
the
You
Yeah,
background.
also have useful equipment of the Oculus.
That's true. You have the Oculus as well. That's a good point. Yeah, the Oculus is where that die is coming from. That's fair. Devil's bargains. My devil's bargain is this. No matter what, you will be pursued by Mab's greenhorns.
No matter what, the aforementioned sister appears.
No matter what, the Great Knight cannot be controlled further.
So it becomes like a problem.
I'm gonna go with Mabe because I feel like that's something tangible and real that we can deal with. So I'm gonna go with Mabe.
Fair
That,
enough.
no matter that, Mabe realizes that her and her crew realizes that Pate's dead. They go through where's the Oculus, where's the team, and then there's a giant hole, and then
Yeah.
they're on to us.
Yeah, it might even be more immediate than that, but we'll see. Let's get some dice out here. You're just doing light dice for now. Just risk 2.
While you're doing this, I'm gonna take Kel because I've got an idea for how we might get that crown.
Okay, well, let's cut to that. So what is that? What's going on with that?
He's got this 150 feet of twine. I think we could if we just loop it around it and then stand real far away, maybe we can haul it to us. That's my plan.
That
Brilliant.
really doesn't sound risky. That doesn't sound risky at all.
Use the bees.
All right, so you get risk 2. What was your result?
I got 5 and a 4.
Okay, the complication is going to be, the complication is going to be this works, but the tunnel lets you out right next to some greenhorns. But you're otherwise out. If you do want to avoid that, you can add a dark die. Really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid that, and I'll roll the die.
It is the same result, but light is high, so you can add another dark die and try again. It's the same result, but dark is high, and so you will get out, but there will be at least some greenhorns out near where you're coming out of, so you may have to deal with them. But otherwise, yeah, the Guardian Knight just like takes his massive axe and just like swings it high overhead, and it just like smashes into that thin part of the roof. And this is kind of a problem because space is starting to be filled with that dust, but it's exposed enough to the surface to where it gets like sucked out a little bit. It's not immediately dangerous. And you're not immediately on the surface. There's just like basically a tunnel there that you have to then scale up. But the knight can get you up to that part of it, to climbing the tunnel out. And you hear some voices. What was that? From up above. Meanwhile, the crown, is that still a thing happening?
What do you think? Have I gotten too concussed and this is a really bad idea?
Would this be a risk roll?
Are you going to do it?
I don't know.
I'm
I think
in-
I'd say, look at what we have. We have so much. Why risk it?
but I'm 150 feet away.
Do you have enough to meet your burdens though? Because if you don't do the deal with map, you've got to meet your burdens of treasure. So
Yeah, that was the same. I think that was basically, what's it, burden 9 to 12. Yeah. We could cash in the tokens and have enough.
yeah.
With that crown. Like I'd do a risk roll if it wasn't risking my mind or body right now. But I'm not clear if
I just
that's
need to
the
know if
case.
you're doing this or not. That's it. That's all I need to know.
Sure, why not?
You do it, it works fine. The crown, the only thing is the crown is very heavy. Like it actually can't be worn. It's so heavy. And if you carry it, it's kind of like all you can carry. You know, like you carry your stuff, but like you have it in your hands, it's like all you can hold, right? Because it's so heavy. But otherwise you have it. It's worth 6 gold. And congratulations. So
I'll say,
Let's
well
get
done.
out of
Paul.
here.
Yeah. I'll hold your other things.
Yeah,
You
take
should tell Lysander it was a very complicated puzzle trap.
So your next step here is you have to get past, you got to get up the little, like, you got to crawl the rest, you got to climb up the rest of the way out. And then, and that's probably like maybe 20 feet or so. And then you have to get past the greenhorns who are now suspiciously looking down this hole.
Is there any way that the guardian can fit through it? Can he climb forward?
No.
Can he climb up in there?
No, he's trapped.
Okay.
I think as soon as we're like up top of the guardian thing and like trying to scramble out, I just start yelling at the greenhorns like, help! Help us defend ourselves against this thing.
Oh, so you're gonna try to trick them basically.
They killed Pate.
Very good. This can go a couple of different ways. They will help you out, but they will take you to Mab unless you kill them. Or
How many of them?
There's just like 3.
Oh.
It'd be a
We're already
combat 8.
They're already going to be hunting us. We might as well whittle them down.
Yeah, I say we can take them.
Okay, very good. So the greenhorns will hear you. They will respond. They'll throw ropes down. They'll help you haul everything up. They'll kind of see at a glance all the stuff you've managed to get your hands on, and they're like, "Oh, Miss Mab is going to be really excited about this. She's going to be." And someone, let's go here. She points to another greenhorn. Go run off. Go to the camp and tell her.
Before you do that, there's more treasure that we got to haul up. You got to help us haul up the rest of the treasure. This is not even half of it.
And we have strict orders to go get Ms. Mab as soon as we hear from anyone or anything.
But
And
there's
You're
a
the sort
hat
to
specifically for Mab we found.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
And
kill
you're
them.
this. Right.
They're going off. They're combat 8. Who's doing the combat?
I mean,
Man, shoot that runner with the crossbow.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Make sure they don't get away.
Do you have a crossbow shot left?
I do.
Go ahead and roll that now. See how it goes. Do a risk 1.
Ooh, another 6.
Very nice. What's a good start? What about the other 2 of you? Say how you're weak and do your thing.
I'm vulnerable because
you're
I'm
vulnerable.
trying. I'm trying to. I'm gonna try to backstab. I'm trying to have him look one way while I stab him, literally backstab him. So I'm vulnerable in that if he keeps his eyes on me, I'm just gonna have to fight. I won't be able to slit his throat.
I like it. Go ahead and roll your weak point. Oh, you just rolled weak. There's no number. 4. Okay. And Ravel?
I don't even know if I can participate in this combat as I have to hold this crown.
That's true. That's a good excuse for getting out of the combat.
Smash him with
Otherwise, I guess I'm hitting somebody with a crown, and that's probably why I'm weak. But
it's up to you. You don't have to participate.
Yeah, I mean, strategically, the fewer people involved in this, the better, considering we need to get
only a 2.
A 2.
Yeah. So let's just see if you can do it, Lysander. Combat 1. Looking for a 2. There you go. That's exactly what you got. Go ahead and just wrap up this scene. So you take one down. Yes, Kel, go describe that.
I think you're muted, Kill.
You're muted.
On our way up, we confer, and we can take them. And as soon as the one turns its back to start to head off towards Mab, I just take that opportunity and pull out my crossbow and let a bolt loose, and it gets him right in the back, and so he's like, "Ugh," and falls over.
Nice, good. Keep it going.
I'm going to use that as my distraction.
Uh-huh.
Instead of trying to tell him there's more treasure, while he's looking at probably in horror that Kale just shot his companion, then I take that opportunity to stab him in the back and push his body into the hole.
Nice, good. Ravel, you can go ahead and just finish off the third guy if you want.
Yeah, I'm like handing the crown up to him, and I'm concealing how heavy it is. And once he's got a hold of it, I just haul him, and he goes hauling down, and he falls. Like, sorry.
And I think you hear the screams of terror and crunching bone as the guardian knight crushes them down in the chamber. You got one guy. You're entitled to a gold roll, gold 8. Whoever wants to roll it.
I'll roll it.
Good.
Just one.
He's got some silver on him, so you can add that to your pile. Whoever wants to take it.
I can't believe we stopped to loot the body.
Well, that's true too. But in any case, you're getting.
We're the worst. We're the worst.
Well, we're also grabbing like whatever supplies they might have on them so that we can make a run for it.
I think making a run for it is fine. You'll be able to do that. So we have to figure out kind of what's next, because we're getting pretty close to our session time. And so we could do, we could probably squeeze Hearthfire in today and then do something new for our last session next week, although this dungeon is done. Or we could just save Hearthfire to next week and do something else to kill the time next week, but I'll leave it up to you all. So I'm okay with whatever.
Well, we still have, was it Murphy's shaft that we could?
There is Mercury shaft, yeah. You could possibly like return to another time, I suppose, because there's a whole section of the dungeon you haven't done. That's where that is, right?
Maybe after a nice long rest somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. But
yeah, I think that would be kind of cool if we did Hearthfire today and then came back some indeterminate amount of time later to try and plumb that.
Yeah, that sounds good. We might do that. We can do Hearthfire today though. So Hearthfire is pretty straightforward. If you scroll down to your character keeper, there's a big heavy black line that divides the character keeper between Incursion and Hearthfire, and that section starts with the section that says Horde. Basically, what you're going to have to do is make sure you have enough treasure in either found treasure or gold to meet your current burdens. Now, you don't take the extra burden of Pate's death until the next time, Lysander, so don't worry about that. But you do have to pay the burdens of, well, no, he's dead, so you actually don't have to do that either. So
no, I think I incur the a permanent
+1, right?
Yep.
But that's not until later. That gets added later, like to the next incursion. So you just have to meet your regular burdens for now. And which is whatever it was before you took the extra from having the hireling. So you have to make sure you meet your burdens in treasure. If you have any hunt roll tokens left over, you can liquidate those for gold. That's fine. And I do, although I think the new rules actually addresses that. Let me look. Pretty sure it does. Maybe it doesn't. I thought it did. Like leftover hunt roll tokens. I think it probably should, though. We should probably squeeze that into the rules somewhere. So otherwise, with the excess money, you get to basically lower your ruin, or you can do other things, but you'll want to just take a look at the Hearthfire section and kind of read through some of that stuff. Let's take just like a 3-minute break so you can kind of do that. If you're going to stash some money away in your hoard, you want to kind of read that section. If you want to establish a household, you can do that. Don't worry about carousing. That's actually changing for the final rules. It's not going to be like this in the final rule set. The equipment will be different too. You can ignore that as well. But you can learn new skills, learn new rituals, heal, that kind of thing. So, but let's just take like 3. We'll come back and do that. Okay, let's talk about Hearthfire. So once you've met your burdens, you get to unmark all your armor. So go ahead and do that if you need to.
Oh, you get to do that without cost.
Yeah, that's free. You just unmark your armor.
Okay.
Once that's what meeting your burdens means, unmarking your armor, essentially.
Okay.
And
Just for easy accounting, I'll pitch my 1 remaining gold over to Kel so he can meet his burdens.
okay. Sounds good. And if anyone is going to keep the Oculus, it is a magic item, which means your burdens go up by 1. So whoever is doing that, let me know. I will tell you what it does. The Oculus is a magic item. When used to cast a ritual, you get 2 light dice instead of 1.
I think Kel would say, well, you know, I did go to quite a bit of trouble to find this item.
If you want to keep it, go for it. Ravel doesn't want it. I don't know if Lysander would like to lay claim to it though.
No, the only thing I would like to do is that if we go back next week, we should bring it with us just in case.
Oh yeah, and I think if we revisit this next week, I think Marcello will probably have something to say about it, and I think that woman in the crystal tomb will probably, or the cell will probably have something to say about it as well. But for now, increase your burdens by 1 for next time, Kel, if you're keeping the Oculus. And let's keep going. Yeah, unmark all your armor once your burdens are met. And then from there, if you have ruin that if you need to lower your ruin score, you can do that with the healing option. You can spend gold 1 for 1 to lower your ruin, or you can mark one of the free options there. Also, if you have a ranged weapon, I think that has an implication as well. If we look at the new
You
rules.
can refill the armor or refill the ammo for 1 gold.
Right. So 1 gold opens up all your ammo slots again as well. So that's another thing you can do with your money. And if you don't have a household already, you can establish a household if you wish. It would probably be in Scarlet Town, but it can be in Fort Durin, I suppose, if you're going to go all the way back to Fort Durin.
I don't know. I'm a little. If we do stay in Scarlet Town, that means we have to go incognito, and we have to like lay low. But I don't think we would go back to Fort Derwin if we're going to turn around and go back to the tomb. I think
Depends on how long we want to lay low for, I guess. If we're waiting until Mab leaves and clears off, I don't know how long that excursion was
She may not
planning.
leave anything in there too. She might, plumb the depths of it, or they might all die and end up in the graveyard. So who knows?
That's true.
We did. If they go the same way we did, they're not going to have that gate to escape to because it's locked.
That is true. Yeah. Well, and also just like They just might be more careless, right? I mean, because all of her greenhorns are called that for a reason, because they're, you know, their pate level of of experience. So yeah. They're just fodder to her. So but in any case, yeah. So what's everyone doing? Let's just go in order here. Lysander, what do you want to do first for Hearthfire?
Well, so it looks like with the tokens I had, and then with some of the money from the crown, I break even after I lower my ruin and repair my armor, and then that's it. I'm topped out, and I have some money stashed.
So repairing armor doesn't cost anything, right? As long as you meet
doesn't?
your burdens, your armor's unclear. So
Well, then I've got 1 gold to possibly do something else with.
you can put it in your hoard. You can stash it away. Get something out of this for your long-term plans.
Is there some way to how do you like change your backpack slots?
Yeah, so that costs a basically it's 1 gold to open up. Let's see here. It's under the equipment section. This is not this rule is changing, but currently it says you spend 1 gold in town to open out crossed out slots. So yeah, and I think that opens up all of your slots. So
Does that mean they're all blank?
yeah, they all become blank, usable additional equipment.
I
And
would
the
use
stuff
gold.
the stuff you have already goes down to your found equipment.
Oh, I would do that. I would spend gold on that. 1 gold
Okay.
will do that.
Yeah. So you can
That's a good
move
deal.
the journal, the rope, and the pickaxe down to your found equipment, and then have those spots be opened up.
I will spend the gold on that.
Okay. Very nice. Ravel?
Okay, so that was 3 gold, right? That you spent out of our chunk. I need to spend, let's see here. I need to spend 2 gold to reduce ruin from 5 to 3, and then I'll do one of the prompts to reduce it back down to starting ruin of 2.
You can do that prompt now.
And then I'll spend a 3rd gold to also clear my backpack equipment. And then I'll do 1 gold to my hoard so I can start that. That leaves, let's see, I spent 4, you spent 3, so you've got 4 gold, Kel, to do with as you would like.
Is that including the 2 that I had?
I think, yeah, I think that like you have an excess of 4.
Oh, after clearing my burdens.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll take 2 of those. I believe, yeah, my starting ruin was 2. So I'm gonna clear 1 with the prompt, and then I'll use another 2. I'm bringing my starting ruin down, or bringing my ruin down to 2. And
So you
and
actually
then
have 3 left right now. Because it's 1 for the prompt, 1 for the goal, 1 to bring it down to 2.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
my ruin was on, it was on 5.
oh, it was on
and then
5.
I had
sorry.
already
Oh,
done
okay.
it.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. So you have 2 left. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then from there, I think I'll add 1 to my hoard. And I think I will also clear my items with that final 1.
Fantastic. Just move everything down from those last 3 slots to whatever's there to found equipment, and then you have those 3 opened up again.
Yeah, did we have any rope left, or did we use it all?
I think the rope is all gone. Actually, you should have erased that already.
Okay.
Leave mine where it's at, which is that shaft.
Yeah.
So I'll have more rope, but the other one's back there
Indeed.
if I choose rope.
For those of you who did hoard things for the first time, you can go ahead and narrate your stuff as well as your your healing things, but we're right at time though, so that's only if everybody has time to. If not, we can save it for next week.
I have time.
Okay, it's only gonna take a few minutes, so it should be fun.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm good.
Daniel, you got like an extra 10 minutes. You good?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, well, let's take it away. So let's see who put things in the horde. Let's start with the healing stuff first. What's your prompt, Ravel?
Narrate a scene showing a truly beautiful place in or near town.
Which town?
Right. So I think we're here at Scarlet Town, right?
Sure.
And the truly beautiful place near town is one of these phantom gardens, with the fading in and fading out, and it's unclear if they're real or not. It's very dreamlike. And you can like pick the flowers when they're like corporeal enough, but then they'll like fade away eventually. So it's a relaxing place to spend an afternoon.
And kind of tragic at the same time in a weird way, like melancholy.
Well, yeah, it's just like, it just makes you think about treasure and how easily it slips through your fingers.
Indeed.
But it's beautiful at the same time.
Very good, very good. Kel, which of your healing prompts are you doing?
I'm also doing a beautiful place in or near town. I think I'll go back to I'm gonna find a way to kind of explore some of these crystals again in this area. And I've got my little wicker basket of these tiny crystal spiders. And I find my way into an open, hollowed out, one of these massive hollowed out crystals that isn't trapped or quite as dangerous as the one that we just emerged from. But I find another little spider colony, and I spend an afternoon there drawing in my journal and taking notes on these spiders and observing their behavior, and taking notes on their environment and how they live. And I'm starting a new section of my journal all about the flora and fauna of this area.
I love it. It's nice. And what about these hordes? So, Ravel, this is the first time you've stashed gold away in your horde. Where do you keep it so no one can find it?
So I think that I keep my hoard right with the governor of Fort Duran. Like,
oh, interesting.
That's how nobody can find it, because he's already got it.
Oh, like, okay, interesting. All right, you're like paying off you're working. Are you working off a debt here, or just?
No, I'm trying to earn his respect, so that way I can get his endorsement to be governor whenever he's done being governor.
Nice, I like it. So go ahead and narrate a flashback to the moment where your drive became important to you.
Yeah, I think it was when I was still a soldier and I was a lancer, and I was assigned to guard the governor, and we all got ambushed in the forest. I was able to get my ward up to protect myself and the governor, but everyone else got picked off by some creatures that attacked us. And as we fled, I was super over it. My friends had just died, and I already didn't like being a soldier. I'd been pressed into it. And the governor was super grateful and was like, if you ever need something, if you ever need a favor, come to Fort Duran, and I'll make sure that there's always work for you. And that's when the seed was planted for me to impress and earn the respect of the governor, so that way I could be the governor someday. And I think I'm thinking of that as I'm packing up this great big crown and getting ready to like ship it to Fort Duran.
Nice, good. I take it you all sold that crown, right? That was part of the money.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, it's the same question, Cal. Where do you keep your hoard so no one can find it?
I think for the time being, I've actually, that same cavern that I discovered the spiders in, I'm gonna stash it away in such a place that I can return to it, but I feel like it's safely hidden. And yeah, and I'll keep it there. And for my flashback, I'm thinking that 4 or 5 years back, my colleague and I, Cyrus, were out on a expedition, and we had just discovered some very important new plant life, and we're both excited about the going back and writing in the academic journals about this new form of life that we had discovered. And he actually, wanting to claim all the glory for himself, took his torch and kind of attacked me with it, burning a good portion of the side of my face and leaving me there for dead. And he went back and went on to great acclaim and renowned about discovering this plant life, and that actually earned him his place on the Earthen Council. And so ever since, kind of crawling my way back from that injury, and kind of retreating to my life with the bees, I've been dreaming of revenge and taking Cyrus's spot on the council.
Nice, I love that. Fantastic. I think that's it for Hearthfire then, yeah?
Yep.
Very well. Let's go to Stars and Wishes. And Stars, I really enjoyed, again, some really interesting and good problem solving going on in this dungeon. A good use of spending tokens to meet set goals, like right when you're at 5 ruin and you are being pressed to go deeper, and it's like, okay, now I'm spending them to get the Oculith, right? That was really good. I enjoyed that a lot, because that would have worked out really differently if you'd reached that point and not had the tokens, right? So that was fun. And little Hearthfire bits at the end were fun too. Little flashbacks were really good. So appreciated seeing that little glimpse into the characters.
My 2 stars are Kale, just the image of Kale while we're working on this one thing, just kind of like sneaking off and navigating around the Guardian and taking the Oculus, and then like, hey guys, there's a star there, and the other star is the combat with the glass ghouls that were sneaking up on Kale. Taking them out with missile weapons was pretty cool.
I want to say a star for the rather thick irony of Pate being obsessed with being buried in that tomb for centuries and then dying there, and you all burying him in the tomb. Right? Like, there's something like fundamentally horrifying about it, and very ironic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that wasn't like overlooked, because I was thinking it's kind of horrible, but also like, we're not going to do any better for him.
It's pretty bleak. I mean, yeah, it's pretty bleak, but I mean, you could have got his body up probably.
Right, but then what are we going to do with him? Like, bury him in the earth where the worms can get out?
Well, actually,
like,
you might not have been able to, because you might not have been able to escape map, right? If you
no,
had
we probably
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't have been able to do that.
yeah, so because you'd be lugging a body around. So.
Oh, I suppose we could have a funeral. He was kind of a treasure hunter.
Oh, kind of, yeah. Well, I think you kind of did by putting him in the sarcophagus.
I'll get his bow to his parents and and all that.
Yeah. Or maybe next week when you go back, when it's returned to the Tomb Robbers of the Crystal Frontier, maybe you go retrieve his body. Who knows? That'd be like get some mixed reactions on that. Good. Stars and
My
Wishes?
my star is for just the way that this story or this excursion wrapped up, and especially I think for everyone getting just right on board, right on the same page about our escape and our evasion of map. And I just enjoyed the way that all wrapped up with the Guardian night and finding this somewhat unexpected and yet convenient way to get out of the crystal tombs.
It kind of reminds me of Fafhrd the Grey Mouser.
It had that
Sword and
vibe,
Sorcery.
yeah.
That's had that kind of vibe
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, very sort. Even though this is presented as kind of like a frontier, almost like Western kind of thing, it really actually truly felt more like well, I'm not even sure it's that. I think it's only that surface. Once you get down into the tomb, it's really not that anymore. It really is more of like a sword and sorcery kind of vibe, I think, for sure. Oh, also a star for I don't think in all my times of playing this game and running it, I don't think I've ever seen an out of character negotiation about hunt roll tokens. Like, I will give you 1 to the cause if you don't do this or do this. I thought that was really interesting. So
Yeah, I thought it was interesting and was happy that you didn't actually want to betray the group. So we didn't have to have a contest. That would have been fun, but it's also really fun that we all like got out and escaped with our treasure.
well, and I think that this connects up to my wish, which is Marcello and the woman in the prison cell. You haven't gotten out from under that, right? That's just a thing for the future. So just put a pin in them for now. But yeah, that's my wish, is to see how that resolves.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, mine too. I just think that now, now that I'm feeling refreshed, I'm much more excited about going back and exploring further and seeing what happens.
I am gonna change my for the disguise purposes. I am gonna change some of my armor, give it different names, and give it a different look. Where maybe I swapped helmets with somebody, because my helmet is very it's a stylized like powdered wig, and I gotta ditch that so that Mabe didn't track us down. So I'll change I'll swap with somebody in a tavern.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think my stars were I really liked how everybody was working through like getting different treasure and things like that. I liked all of the creative problem solving that felt very, very OSR. And I liked that some of them involved risk and some of them it was just like we got the benefit of the plan.
I
Like,
absolutely love the crown thing, because I knew that nothing happened if you moved the crown. But like, just the fact that you all thought something happened, that was crazy. Yeah, there's no way I was going to tell you whether risk roll was or not.
it's good. Yeah, I like the commitment to the source material onto whether or not that was a danger. It felt good. But the like creative solution to like have the big giant knight like break a way out through the ceiling, that was very smart. Very good idea.
Yeah, I think a star for the system too. This is my first time playing in a Trophy Gold game, and feeling, knowing that you've got a couple ruin to play with, I felt very confident in, putting myself out there, going out in the last session, going out on this rock climbing kind of expedition. But then as soon as I hit 5, I was just like, what?
Yeah, the calculus changes a lot. It's like, well, I think we might be done.
And that's when some of the most creative solutions to problems also starts to come. So I'm excited to play again, but maybe take that mentality into the rest of my play too.
Yeah, that's a really fun part of the game. Because that's when the hunt roll token economy starts to make a lot more sense, right? Because once you start to put together those pieces of like, oh, there's no easy way to lower ruin. I'm almost 6, and we have to go just a little bit further. So it's like, well, did we save any tokens? Like, that's when that part of it, that sort of strategizing and that sort of like, sort of out of character like consideration is really, really intriguing, and it's the fun of the game and in a lot of ways. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll just, if we actually go back and are only going to explore for a single session, like it's very unlikely we would get enough
I
treasure.
might just put you at half burdens. So
okay.
Half burdens. Yeah, be fun. But anything else before we go? If that's even what it is, you all might show up next week, and I have other plans, so we'll see. But yeah, any other stars or wishes? Okay. Well, this was very, very fun. I will look forward to seeing our little our little epilogue session next week to see what we're going to do. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.